Ladies and gentlemen, the S&P had a massive drop today. Why that happened, we'll cover in this video. But more importantly, we want to talk about what exactly this means for Bitcoin. Our bottom buying has been extremely accurate. Right now, that trade is an 8.5% worth of profit, which obviously, with leverage, means we almost doubled the money that we put in. And I think we covered this dip in this video, I don't exactly remember which one. And we missed an update yesterday, but for the most part, it was only just to tell you that people are lying. I've really noticed when I watch these TA videos from other people, what they do is they say that Bitcoin's gonna go down way lower, and when it doesn't, they still say they were right. It's ridiculous. I told you guys we are buying the freaking dip. There's no debating that. And take a look at the price action. Our dip buying, spot on. Rejection, again, a double top as expected. Right now, as it stands, by the way, it's a perfect nearly trend line that Bitcoin is facing yet again. But what I was trying to say was, as we were stating earlier, as the S&P shows signs of being green, which at that point it still was, there's a good chance for Bitcoin to break through. And the moment that it did, it went all the way towards what we on Twitter described as the next pain point, which is basically these tops right here. And we described that with the help of the liquidation heat map that basically suggested and showcased where the majority of the pressure lied, and so that we didn't necessarily expect a move above 44.5K unless the S&P showed a lot of bullish signs. But as you can see, the pressure that we were covering yesterday still remains. But then again, we saw a very small pullback back towards, again, I didn't draw anything in here today. All of this was already set out. Anyway, back towards this trend line. And we had a bounce back upwards, and right now we are facing the exact same resistance. But here's where things get scary. And this is one of the first times where I'm telling you, it's gonna move pretty fast in the very near future, so you gotta be on it. You have to be on it or you might miss it. And if you haven't done it yet, by the way, guys, make sure you press that like button right now. And if you wanna claim a free $500 Bitcoin or a $500 bonk or a $500 XRP trade, check the link down below. All you gotta do is verify your account by posting your ID, get $100 in, and that's it. You can claim yourself a $500 free position. But obviously, a lot of countries are blocked like the US, but from other people, make sure you check it out with the description link down below. So my warning comes from the fact that the S&P, I think partially because of Apple's numbers, as the Dow and everything has fallen, and I saw that Apple had some patent issues and thus could not sell their Apple Watches in the US anymore, at least the newest ones, I believe, and that did not do well for the stock, and perhaps it just kind of rolled over into all the major indices and other stocks, because this was apparently the stock market's worst day since October. So a very bad day to witness. And over the last couple of weeks, we saw Bitcoin post some massive gains in direct correlation with the S&P, which does make me wonder what exactly is going to happen right now as we got so close to that all-time high. Is this just a very simple pullback before more gains come in the near future? Or is this top just a lower top, just failing to break all-time high and not actually continue on to breach these previous levels? That is something that I'm warning you guys about, as in theory, Bitcoin should have an inverse correlation with the S&P, would be very logical. And so now that the S&P is doing bad, there's a good chance people are looking for safety. And where do you fly to safety to? Well, a very good chance that people would choose crypto. And thus, the moment that we break through 44.5-ish K, it's going to be a very quick rise all the way towards 47,000. We talked about this before with the major points of pressure and the major accumulation points. 37, 47, and 57 even are major points to watch. And since we've not seen those prices in so long, it's most likely going to be a very quick leg upwards. But we are obviously also bracing ourselves, basically preparing for another rejection at this area, whereby the price probably retests this bottom right here. And if that breaches, I do believe it could be a pretty quick fall back all the way towards 41K. And obviously the targets lower we covered over the last couple of videos. And again, thus far, it is only still dip buying opportunities. I mean, right now, the last dip we bought, as we talked about here, was just a perfect target. And these bounces here recently have just been perfect. But sometimes when things are doing too well, it gets kind of scary. And so if you just want to get those levels back into your head, the major one we're watching for is obviously just 41,000, the previous bottom. If we do not manage to breach, if we get resisted at these levels again, or if we manage to fall purely because the S&P is also turning around. If we do breach 41 though, obviously we've got our outlier, a major psychological barrier at 40 as kind of like a last defense. I've got some orders set up right there at both these levels, by the way. And my next orders are actually a pretty far ways off, all the way towards 38,000. And all I'm doing as of this point is just adding margin at these levels, because I do not expect a move all the way towards 34,000, which is the worst case scenario, as we talked about before, with the ETFs coming up and with the fact that that will be a 25% pullback, which is basically the average we've seen in previous bull runs. It wouldn't make sense to go down even more than that. Anyway, I do not want to spend, or I should even say waste, too much of your time. Right now, you know exactly what we're being resisted at. You know exactly the levels which we're buying at if we're buying more. Matter of fact, if some people right now would want to take some profit to try and buy back in the moment a breakout is confirmed, I would also not be against that. That means that right now, because we are at such an important resistance, you get out of your position, you wait for a breach of these very important levels, because the idea that the S&P also just fell down, RSI getting back into oversold territory nearly, and just basically reset for yet another opening. Because over the last couple of hours here, like the last day, there wasn't really any perfect entry unless you were able to catch this dip right there. A lot of people right now are looking for new positions on Ethereum, I've noticed, as Ethereum just hit, hey, one of our trades just got opened. Hey, that's nice. Little fun fact, we talked about this before, how every single time Ethereum comes back to this line, I buy it. And look at that. We just came back on it a few hours ago, which is nice. That's again another, how much? Let's quickly see. 4.4%. Of course, with leverage, that's at least 50% profit. That is juicy. And I told you guys Solana is the biggest coin in my portfolio right now. That is also kind of funny. If you're watching this, you know, I had somebody come over here. And I basically said, I'm going to go for a gamble. I'm going to put all my stable coins at that point into Solana. And it's basically tossing the coin if it's going to be worth more or less in a few days or a few weeks, because I didn't need stable coins at the time. And that was, I think, at $74, $73. And the price went down for the next couple of days. So I was kind of, and I talked about it over on DustyBC Crypto on the news channel, and now we're winning. So that is amazing, and I'm very glad I put that money in, because it's sometimes very annoying to see massive gains and you didn't have any, which is why exiting a Bitcoin position in such a bull market, of course, also feels risky. So if you want to, you've got to get your orders straight right after. But again, there's just a warning that because the S&P is falling so hard, there could definitely be a pretty harsh pullback here, unless Bitcoin breaks loose from this correlation. But we'll only see that after we get a breakout or a move from this exact level that we're trading at right now. So pay close attention. Right now, we're at the brink of it all. It's literally the most important move of the year. We're getting so close to the ETFs. But yeah, just want to quickly update this and make sure you keep watching, because it's about to get very interesting. Make sure if you want to trade, you check out the links down below to Bybit or the others, and that's about it.